Why can't I plumb this sink? Well, the short answer is going to be one of the following. Your sink isn't indoors, you're not using the right type of wrench, or your water source isn't set up right. Let's take it from the top. Before you can plumb a sink, you're going to need some tools. You're going to need a pipe wrench, not a wrench, a pipe wrench. This used to actually be backwards in game, where you did plumbing with a wrench and a pipe wrench would not get the job done. So unfortunately this means there's still some out-of-date information floating around. In terms of moving your sink, here you're going to need either a wrench or a pipe wrench, unless you opt for a different type of sink, in which case you might actually need a hammer or a screwdriver. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to keep using the word sink, but this can actually be a sink, a toilet, a shower, a washing machine, bathtub, etc. All of these items can be plumbed, but they actually have a surprisingly diverse range of features. So which one would be best for your situation may be more complicated than you think. For example, sinks in all their varieties can be picked up with no skill using a wrench or a pipe wrench. They are very light to carry around, but they will always have a 25% chance to break. A bathtub, on the other hand, occupies 2 tiles, weighs significantly more, still requires a wrench or a pipe wrench to pick up, but has no chance of breaking. Wall showers actually require a hammer to move, and their break chance is dependent on your carpentry skill. They require several levels of carpentry before you can even attempt to pick them up. Showers have an even higher break percentage than sinks, until your carpentry is at a sufficiently high level, at which point they can no longer break. Washing machines and combination dryers require a screwdriver to move, and a fairly hefty 3 levels of electrical. They weigh a lot more than a sink, but they do not break at any skill level. Interestingly, you cannot drink out of a plumbed washing machine, but you can drink straight out of a combination dryer washing machine. In summary, when moving things around your base to figure out where to set up your clean water source, try to move anything that has a break chance as little as possible. Depending on your skill level, you can even use a washing machine or a shower as a placeholder to confirm they have the option of being plumbed in that spot before switching them out for a sink if you prefer that look. You know, just in case the idea of a shower in the middle of your kitchen doesn't work for you. And just a reminder, no matter your skill level, bathtubs do not break. While setting up your sink, you're going to need access to the floor above it to install your water source. Usually this is going to be a water collector barrel, but there are some other options. And you're usually going to want this tile to be exposed to the elements, though not necessarily. Ever since we lost the ability to build floors straight through windows, this has become more difficult. This is easier on buildings that allow roof access, and for other buildings you may need to either build your own stairs or do some remodeling with a sledgehammer. For a viable early build, you can have a rain collector in a room on the 2nd story of your house and another one out in the garden, and then you can simply transport the rainwater from one to the other by hand. You can also move tainted water from a natural source like a river or a lake. Another option is to use a water dispenser. Water dispensers cannot be crafted, but they are quite easy to find, and they can be moved without tools and no chance of breaking them. You can use a water dispenser as a water source for the purposes of plumbing a sink. You might wonder, why would you want to do this? As a water dispenser starts the game with 250 units of clean water in it. There are actually 2 good reasons. Firstly, if you're just testing out potential layouts of your base, you can use the water dispenser to confirm where you want to build or move a rain collector barrel, with no chance of breaking the barrel as you move it. We'll talk more about the placement of your water source later. Secondly, a water dispenser can be refilled, and can even be filled with tainted water. So if you're living by a natural body of water, or you have a rain collector out in the yard, you can use the combo of a water dispenser and your plumb sink to launder the tainted water into clean water. As far as the alignment between your water source and your sink, again there is often some out-of-date information here. Once upon a time, the water container needed to be 1 level above the sink, and in any of the 9 tiles around it, except for the one directly above the sink. This is no longer true, and the tile directly above the sink and its 8 adjacent tiles will work just fine. If you've got your sink and water source in place, and you definitely have a pipe wrench and not a wrench, and you're still having trouble plumbing the sink, it's most likely that your sink is not placed where it's in a space that's designated as inside. When transitioning between outside and inside, you will usually see a distinct lighting difference, especially in poor weather. You'll also see a temperature difference most of the time. For a room to be inside, it needs to be fully enclosed with wall frames and door frames, and it needs a roof. The wall frames don't even need to be upgraded to proper walls or windows, and the door frame doesn't even need a door. This allows for creations of rooms that are the size of an outhouse. That should be all the basics covered. So remember, if you're having trouble, check that your sink is indoors, that you're using a pipe wrench, and that you've got your source of water in the right place. I'm Kyle, and I would like to thank you for watching my video. If you found it helpful, consider hitting all the things and subscribing to the channel to get more Project Zomboid guides and playthroughs.